Welcome to Pink Caddy Garage.
Today we're going to do a quick video on how to switch out a battery on a car. Now from car to car there's going to be some differences obviously as far as location and all, but the process is going to be the same for just about any car. So let's take a look. Before we can get to this battery, it looks like we need to take a thing or two off. But before you even take any cables off, you need to consider on your particular car, does it have any other systems that need to continually have power even while the battery is unhooked?
Like what?
Well, like the older cars, you'd probably just lose your time on your clock and your radio station presets. But the newer cars have a lot more complex systems, at least some of them do. So you may want to consider getting a Keep Alive memory module to plug in under the dash, which you can get at the auto parts store.
Well, I don't have a bougie car like that, so I think I don't have to worry about it.
All right, then let's get started.
My car has a plastic duct over the top of the battery, so all we had to do was take off 3 screws and there's the battery.
When you look at your battery, you're going to have your positive and your negative cables. So this one's very obvious. The positive is covered up here, and we've got a big, nice red positive sign. It's not going to always be that obvious. So it's either going to be marked on the battery itself, or you will see it on the cables. The important thing to remember is you want to take your negative cable off first. So usually you can use a socket or even a small wrench and get that off. You don't need to take the nut all the way off. Just get it loose and then wiggle that off. Once that negative's off, then you can go over to your positive side, loosen the nut again, and set that off to the side. Just about every battery is going to have some kind of a hold down device to keep it secure. A lot of times it'll be something going right over the top like a metal bar, but a lot of cars, this one included, it's going to be that bolt right down there. So you're going to need to get a couple of extensions probably, and definitely a socket for this one, and just keep loosening it. You're probably going to have to take this thing all the way out in order to clear that battery. So at this point the battery should be ready to come out. Be sure you got your cables and all out of the way so you've got a clear path to get it off. Now what makes it easy for a lot of batteries, they've got a strap right here. When you buy a new battery, make sure you get a strap. This one doesn't have one, and I'm kind of curious to see if Ashley can get this out on her own.
Finally, I can put these mechanic gloves to good use. Now before we take the battery out, you want to make sure that you have a good spot to put it. I've got a towel down on my car because sometimes batteries can leak a little bit of acid on the outside, and you do not want that touching your paint. So there's a little sleeve over my battery that we're just going to get rid of that. Batteries weigh about 40 pounds, roundabouts. So let's see if I can get it out myself. Yeah.
Before you put your new battery in, you're going to want to take a look at your cables and make sure there's no corrosion. Come on in here, let me show you what I'm talking about. So that little bit right there, that's not too bad, but you don't want any of that touching your new battery. So they make a little tool here that's got a wire brush on it, but you can use sandpaper or whatever you've got that's abrasive. Just get in there and clean that off well as you can. So you're going to want it to look shiny and nice looking like that so it gets good electrical contact to your battery. We'll do that for both.
Let's pretend for a moment that I didn't just dust off my old battery to make it look like new, but to be honest, my battery was in pretty good condition. It wasn't too old, it was just a little dirty. Now, let's talk about this for a moment. Each battery has a clearly marked plus or minus sign on it. You want to make sure that this goes in exactly the way you took it out. And to prevent corrosion, the batteries come with 2 felt rings that you'll want to put on, red for plus, green for minus, and make sure that that is exactly as you took it out as well.
All right, with that, we're ready to put this battery back in. So just set it back in the battery area. And then you might want to get in here, Ashley, on this clamp. So on this clamp, on this particular model, this is what goes against the lip of the battery. And then when you tighten it down, it's going to secure that battery. So just slip this in, tighten it, and then give the battery a shake, make sure it's secure. All right, with that nice and snug, test it, we're good, and we're ready to put our sleeve back on. Once the sleeve's on, we're ready to get our cables on, and this is important. First, you're going to want to put your positive on. Slide it on, get it as straight as you can so you're not stressing out your cables. Once you've got that cable positioned, go ahead and snug it down. Not too tight, but you'll know if it's tight enough if you give it a shake and it doesn't move.
A little shake, rattle, and roll.
I suppose. Same story with your negative. You got power going to the car now. Once that thing touches, get that snug down. Give it just a little bit with your ratchet. Test it. And you are finished. Battery's in, you're just going to want to put back anything you had to take off to get to it. So in this case, it's just these 3 little plastic screws. So
now for the moment of truth. Did my radio presets and clock reset, or did they hold? Let's find out. Nope, it all reset. But now for the even bigger moment of truth. Did my battery get connected properly, and is my car going to start? And that looks like a success. So today's video didn't require a lot of tools, just a couple of sockets from the set and a power drill, or if you don't have that, a Phillips head screwdriver will work just fine. And that should about do it. It's pretty easy. If you like these videos and want to see more, because we have some more to come, please don't forget to subscribe and don't let the trunk hit you on the way out. In this case, the hood.